Hi,
Hello.
ladies. I'm Brooke. I live in Washington State, so it's very cold here. Don't mind my scarf. I'm already winterized over here. I'm so glad to be here with y'all. I'm a super silver. I just joined in August, and this is a little bit about my story. My story has a lot of things to talk about. I have more energy. I lost some weight. I'm feeling a lot better. You know, a lot of the things that we hear day in and day out as far as plexus goes. But my story is a little bit unique. About 20 years ago, I was diagnosed at 17 years old, very healthy, on the dance team in high school, with type 1 diabetes, which is an autoimmune disease that basically shuts your pancreas down and makes it unable to process carbohydrates and sugars on its own without the use of insulin, which is a hormone that I had to take via shot about 5 times a day for about 15 years of my life. Now my kids call me, I'm trying to figure out where it is. My kids call me a cyborg because I have a new automated pancreas. It hooks in to my clothing and it gives me insulin 24 hours a day. So it's pretty awesome. So the world's come a long way with type 1 diabetes, but the struggles are still the same. I have to count carbs, what I'm eating. I have to watch what I eat. I have to try and get some exercise in. I have to try and deal with the emotional aspects of depression and anxiety that come along with having a life-threatening disease for the rest of your life. And then I met a wonderful man, and I won't disclose his name because he's very secretive about his health. But we got married a few years ago, and he has type 2 diabetes. And type 2 diabetes is a little bit different than type 1. It's generally genetic, so he has a lot of members of his family that have it, and it can be more controlled with diet and lifestyle and exercise. So when I joined Plexus, of course, we did the triplex, and we were really loving that. And who here uses your perk points? Y'all, if you don't know what perk points are, check your perk points. If you've been doing Plexus for more than 2 months, you probably have enough to get a free product. So y'all, I'm like a couponer, crazy saver, money saver queen. So as soon as I had enough perk points, I ordered Balance. So those of you that don't have diabetes have probably not ordered Balance, not checked into this. But I ordered it because I was like, hey, helps delay the digestion of carbs and sugar. That will be right up my alley. And the nice thing about Balance is that it has 3 key ingredients, not just one ingredient. It has mulberry extract. And what that does is it actually inhibits the enzyme in your stomach that tries to break down the sugar. So it basically tells your body, oh, no need to break down that sugar. So then it doesn't go into your bloodstream. It also has white kidney bean extract. And you know how your grandma used to always say, you know, eat your beans, eat your chili, get plenty of fiber in your diet. That's because number one, it helps you go to the bathroom, which is good. But number two, it helps to delay your blood glucose absorption. So instead of peaking and valleying really quick, your blood glucose will do something like this, which is really important for your body to be able to metabolize it. And then it also has cassia cinnamon, which that's been studied to help with blood glucose as well. There's 2 types of cinnamon, and Plexus has chosen to put the one in the Balance that has been studied, tried and true with type 2 diabetes for also the same thing, absorption of blood glucose. So I'm a total science nerd. I'm not super good with like chemistry, but basic science experiments are totally my jam. And I like to test things and I like to try things. So I made my husband my guinea pig, y'all. I gave him 2 Balance, 30 minutes before a meal. We went to Costco and got one of those big seasonal pot pies, you know, the giant ones that are like totally carb-tastic. And I got my little kitchen scale out and I measured an exact portion of it and checked his blood glucose before we ate. It was 180, which was a little bit elevated. And then 1 hour post meal, which is really important because that talks about how quick your body is absorbing the sugars. It was 195. So it had jumped 15 points. So I was pretty surprised about that. That's a really carb heavy meal. I thought it would have gone a lot higher, but the Balance again helped the absorption on that. Day 2, we did the exact same thing, the exact same amount of pot pie, glass of water. Pre-meal was 162. And after meal, 1 hour later, it was 218. You guys, do you see the difference in the numbers there? It went up 56 points in one day with one product, missing this product. So we've definitely added this into our family's line. If you have somebody that's in your family that has type 1 diabetes, type 2 diabetes, even a lot of people, if they're just really heavy, even not very heavy people, but a lot of people that are overweight have insulin resistance, which is like a precursor to type 2 diabetes. add this in at dinner. It's a great, great, great product. So if you have any questions, feel free to message me, friend me on Facebook. Yeah, pre-diabetic means like if they don't change their ways in the few years, they would develop type 2 diabetes. So a lot of people that are very, very, very overweight or obese, if they go to the doctor will say, oh, your numbers are in the pre-diabetes, which is just higher than normal, but under what they would actually diagnose as diabetes. That's what's called pre-diabetic. So I'm just answering a question in the chat there. So if you have anybody that's in your team or anybody that you're talking to that mentions anything about blood sugar stability, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. All right, sure love you guys. Hope you have a blessed evening.
Thank you, Brooke. That was like just so amazing. Every time you tell me that experiment, I just like get the chills. It's so cool that like seeing a product work the very first time you try it. That was so awesome. Thank you. Okay, so this week, you guys, our focus of our call is really going to be about the system. And so, I mean, there's a system for literally like every step of this. And so Marissa and I have kind of gone back and forth, like, well, what system do we want to talk about? Like, what systems are the most important? And so I think we've tried, Marissa has broken it down to make it very simple. And just know that like, there's probably a system for each of the things that we talk about too. So like get with your sponsor, things like the team pages, getting with your sponsor, all of those things will be super duper helpful. But Marissa has really been very thoughtful in coming up with ways to make the system as easy as possible, which I think having the system in and of itself makes it easy. So anyways, I'll stop talking and Marissa, you can take it away.
Okay. So the system I'm going to be sharing with you guys is just basically like onboarding. So that just means that you have someone that you have just added that wants to start the business. And so just the system of getting them started and what they can do. So first you just need to know, like, as a sponsor, when you're adding someone that wants to start the business, and some of this even applies if they don't want to start the business, they just want to start the products and maybe just have a couple people that they want to share with and get their products paid for. So you just need to know as a sponsor, like they're going to need your support because when you provide them with your support, then it's successful for you, it's successful for them, and it helps the whole team. And just know if you are new and you are adding someone, utilize your upline. So you'll see a lot of that. Okay, so where to start? So I've broken this in. I actually have like a slide deck that I made to help me stay organized. And so if you are someone too, like after this call, that wants this, like I can totally share it with you. Okay, so where to start? There's 4 basic steps. You're going to make sure you're engaging on your social media. So I get that sometimes from people that like, oh, I don't really post on my social media. Well, this is a perfect opportunity for you to start posting. So you can post on your social media, you can engage with others, create fun stories, do something fun, like try out a reel, and just kind of get your presence out there. Because if you don't, and then you just do like a random post, that's fine, but you're just probably not going to get as many people that are going to see your post or engage in it if you are also not engaging from, you know, with other people that you're connected to. So I like to, okay, so you're going to engage in your social media, and I want you to think about too, like, what is your brand? I just started like over the last, I mean, I feel like I always kind of posted about the same things, but really try to narrow down like 3 or 4 things that you consistently will post about in your social media so that you can stay consistent with that. Because if people are following you because they're your friend or for, you know, your other hobbies that you do, they're going to want to continue to see that and not just all of a sudden see like a takeover of Plexus on your social media. So think about like your 3 things. So like for me, it's like mom life, it's teacher, and it's, you know, football family. So like I have my things and I consistently post about those things. So engage on your social media, think about your brand, and interact with your followers. So comment on their things, like their things, engage in their stories, play in their pools that they do, whatever it is. And specifically, you're going to want to do this like before and after you post, because it's going to help them be able to see what you posted. Like it will pop up in their feed. And then make your first post. So I love that we were already talking about that in the call. So you want to make your first post, and there's lots of information on like the team page, health, happiness, and financial freedom. Talk to your sponsor. Like I know when I first did mine, I think I did it in a story, and it was just like a picture of the pink drink, and I created it and I screenshotted it and I sent it to Katie and I said, what do you think? And then she's like, okay, looks good. And then I posted it the next day. So get with your sponsor, have them help you craft your first post, and then just do it. And then from there, you're going to get people that are interacting with it. And that's how you can start your conversation. So this is where I feel like people always get scared, is starting the conversation. Yes, it's probably going to feel scary, especially if you've sort of been away from social media for a while. So that's why it's important to engage on your social media, because you're probably already naturally going to fall into some conversations with people about whatever it is that you're posting or that you guys are talking about, and then you can bring it up from there. So when you're doing your conversations, people always ask like, who do I, talk to? And it could be really anyone. It doesn't have to be on social media either, but a lot of times that's kind of where we start. You can share with anyone on your heart or on your mind. Like for me, I know when I first started, there were people every single day that I thought of that like, oh my gosh, I need to text my aunt, or, oh my gosh, I need to call my cousin, or whatever it is, because, they were on my mind once I started using the products and I saw what they were doing. I'm like, oh, I know that they could use this for this. So share with anyone on your heart, anyone on your mind. And it doesn't have to be about just the products. You can also think about the business. If you know someone in your life that is struggling financially, that needs a new start, that needs, needs some supplemental income, just ask, because maybe they might like it and maybe they won't, and that's fine too. So people who like your posts, people who comment on your posts, people who engage in your stories. And another one I like to do is when you're on Instagram and you can see like who has looked at your stories, a lot of times it's the same people looking at your stories all the time. And so like, I literally will go through to like the end of my story and see who followed that whole thing all the way through and was engaged in that the whole time. And then I'll usually message those people, because those people followed through your 5 or 6 slides where you were talking about plexus. And if they weren't into it, they would have stopped after the first slide. So message them. Hey, I know you saw, oops, is my phone? Okay, I better charge it. Hey, I know you saw my post, or did you see my post? And, I'd love to answer any questions for you. Are you interested? Anything like that. And be confident. So I have like 2 sections here when I'm talking about conversations, and one is the who and one is the how. So the how is just important as the who. So not only who are you talking to, but how. You want to come across confident. So think about like the words that you're saying, share your enthusiasm. I said, think about the words that you're saying, but don't overthink them. Just be you, because they're your friend and they know you and they're not expecting perfection from you. So don't overthink it. But like when you're wording, when you're putting together your words, like try to just be as confident, I guess, as you can. When you're thinking about saying like something that is going to take away some of like the belief in what you're going to say, delete it. So share your enthusiasm and belief in the products, you guys. Even if you just started, belief in the products goes a long way. Enthusiasm in what you're doing goes a long way. I've literally had people tell me, I just started because I just saw how excited you were about it and I wanted to try it. So like that is huge. And also, when you're talking to people, talk to them in the same way that you typically would. So like, if you typically talk to your sister-in-law through a text message, probably don't go Facebook message her, because she might not see it, So I like to approach the people that I am going to ask about Plexus in the same way that I would talk to them. If it's
I
like
feel
with
like
my
that
mom.
is like so huge, Marissa, because sometimes I feel like it feels really fake and slimy if like I normally talk to you on Messenger, but then all of a sudden, or like in text message, and then all of a sudden I'm messaging you. It feels like, oh, well, you're just copying and pasting all the people on your Facebook thread. So I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I, added my mom and my sister, like, no, I'm not going to go send them a message. I just got on the phone with them. Like we typically talk like every day. Why wouldn't I just call them and say, hey, are you ready to try this? So talk to them in the same way that you typically would. And then this is usually what people say. Well, what do I even say? How do I even start the conversation? I put in my thing like some like sample messages, but honestly, this is where you talk to your sponsor. Say, okay, I have someone on my mind, or someone liked my post. What should I say? Ask them. They probably have a sample that they can send you that you can copy, tweak, and make it your own and send it out. I'm sure probably all of us have at least one of those saved in our notes in our phone. I know I have several. And then, you tweak it. You start with something personal, connect with them in some way, hey, how are you and that new baby doing, or whatever it is. And then I like to always end with the question, because it gives them an opportunity to respond. And it also makes them sort of in a way feel like they should respond and not just see it and not respond. So it kind of helps you get the conversation flowing. Let me see what else with that. Yeah, what to say. Definitely talk to your sponsor. And I like to do like my initial reach out, like by myself, but then if they showed interest is where, like, I know at the beginning, I was just putting Katie, sorry, I have a baby crying, but my husband has her. I was just putting Katie in a ton of three-way messages. So once they were like, oh yeah, let me get some more information, then I would just put Katie, because she's my sponsor, in a three-way message. So utilize the three-way messages. That's definitely always the best way to go for a couple reasons. One is because you are brand new. So you are probably not going to know what to say or how to answer the questions or even have a lot of information on the product, but your sponsor will. So put them in the three-way, because they can help answer all of the questions that your friend has. And another reason you want to do that is because you're going to be learning from them. They're going to be answering the questions and helping your, potential customer get the information that they need and show interest and, pique their interest in the pink drink. But you're also going to be learning from them on how to get those conversations going, how you can then take the reins when you feel comfortable and do it yourself and follow what your sponsor did in the message that you put them in. And then when they're ready, sign them up as an ambassador. You can do it over the phone. I've done it all of these ways. Over the phone, you can get their information. Like I have some people that are just not tech savvy and are like, I don't know what I'm doing on the computer. What if I just send you all my information and then you can do it? You can do it that way. Or you can send them directions themselves. And I've been doing this a lot lately. And they can add themselves. But I do have to say, sometimes they do it wrong. I just had someone do it wrong and they signed up as a customer and not an ambassador. And either way is fine, but she wanted to be an ambassador anyway. So just sort of know your people and see what works best for them. And you can do it in any of those ways. Then next thing, you want to have them download the Plexus Engage app. This app is so awesome because there are going to have a ton of resources in there. They can access their back office from there, and they have 3 free samples. Anyone that adds as an ambassador is going to automatically have 3 free samples that they can send to anyone. So this is usually literally like what I say. Okay, welcome to Plexus. I'm so excited for you. Listen, you got to download the Plexus Engage app. You're going to want it. And did you know that you have 3 free samples? Isn't that great? Because you don't have to share your pink drink that you have. Plexus is giving you 3 free samples to send to your friends. And then that way you don't have to dig into your own stash. And people are always like, oh, I love that. And then I say, okay, who are 3 people that come to mind? I can help you send them right now. And they're usually like, oh yeah, my sister or my sister-in-law or my mom or whoever. And you're like, great, I'll walk you through the app. And then they send them out, and then boom, there they go. They have 3 people already that are, going to get samples in the mail, and then 3 people already that they're going to be following up with, and 3 people already who might potentially want to buy the pink drink. And then boom, then they can be silver and they get a bonus. It's like, seriously sounds that easy because it can be that simple. And then when one of those people, because surely probably at least one of them will want to get the pink drink and order it themselves, you're going to put that person in a 3-way message with your sponsor. And if your sponsor is someone that is brand new or not working the business, put them in a message with their sponsor. So like, I have a level 1 working the business. She's been adding people the last couple months. She is still like unsure on how to work the conversations and stuff, which is fine. So she's putting me in a message too. So it's like me and then my level 1, and she's adding people who are adding people. So there's literally 4 people in the message. And that's fine, because if she doesn't know the answer to something, I can answer it. And we're just sort of working it together as a team. And it's great because it's building her capacity. It's helping the team. She's then going to be able to duplicate that and help her level 1. So 3 4-way messages is the way to go. And then usually we schedule an event. So, and I don't even like ask, I just usually say, this is so great, and a lot of times too, people will be added because they were in an event. And you can even say like, hey, how we helped, Stacy or whoever, do an event, we can do one of those for you. And it's a great way for you to share the information with people and help you get your products paid for. So put them in a 3-way message, sign them up as an ambassador, do it over the phone, have them do it themselves, share a graphic, or you can do it. Download the Plexus app. So that's the 3rd step. Share your free samples. That's the 4th step. Put them in a 3-way message with your sponsor and schedule an event. So that's sort of like the breakdown right there. That's sort of the big thing. And honestly, I wasn't doing a lot of the download the app because I wasn't even familiar with it. And since I've been doing that, I am seeing so much more like success. Even people that I would never think would want to share with anyone are downloading the app and sending out samples, and at least even just getting one person on board. I mean, ideally, we want to help everyone go silver, but which is adding 3, but even if they don't, and they're just sharing with a friend, they're going to be so much more successful because they're going to have a friend to share their experience with, and they can talk to each other each day and share their successes and things like that. When you're first getting started, what you're probably going to want to do is get some graphics from your upline. So for me, a couple that I have saved like and hearted in my camera roll are the one that you send if you are adding someone yourself. If you're not going to get on the phone with them and get the information right there, is I like to send the graphic that says, this is what I need, or this is how you get started with Plexus. And it says all the things that you need, like your name, the birth date and stuff like that. And then you're also going to want to save in your phone. We have a new one that I know Katie and Taylor just made that is your routine for enrolling an ambassador. And what I love about this is it breaks down exactly what to do to enroll as an ambassador. And when I send that to someone for them to enroll themselves, now they have it and they can send that same graphic to whoever it is that they're going to add, and then they can use it to add themselves. It's like genius. So Katie and Taylor, props to you for making that, because it's made my life so much easier. And then I like to send them a little welcome graphic that breaks down those 4 steps I just talked about. It says on there, welcome to Plexus. And it says, download the Plexus Engage app, share your free samples, 3-way message with your sponsor, and schedule an event. Easy peasy. Okay. So you have your person signed up. You have helped them, add in their own people. This is the next part that is super important and that I have found as I've been working, trying to go higher in the ranks is customer care. It takes a lot of time. But it's so important and it's so worth it. I usually take like every Friday because I work full time and I get out of work early on Friday because the kids leave early. I usually use that time on Friday afternoon and I go through all of my people and I send them a message. I do my check-ins. Something we started doing recently in with our like small team is even doing check-ins in your three-way message, because sometimes, well, a lot of times what happens, especially if you're new, is that you will get a question from someone that you're checking in with and you don't know the answer. Like they're worried about, their bowel movements are, too loose or whatever it is, or they're having cramping or they've got headaches and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to fix their dosing. You don't know what to say to them, how to encourage them. Do the check-ins in a three-way message because your sponsor can help you answer those questions. Your sponsor can help you hype them up and celebrate their detox if they're going through it. Because if you're not doing that, chances are they're going to stop. And then if they stop, then, that's really not what you want, because you want them to keep using their products. You want them to keep get all the benefits from it that you are, and you want them to continue to share that with your friends, because that helps your business and it helps them reach the goals that they wanted to. And it's a great word of mouth for Plexus. If people are saying, oh my goodness, I started this thing and now I'm feeling like this and I feel amazing, like that's great. That's word of mouth. That's what you want. So do your check-ins in three-way message. I like to say this to people when I send that graphic that says like, welcome to Plexus, and it has the 4 steps. I also will text out and say, text me when your products arrive so I can help you get started, because then you can walk them through what all the things are that they got in the package, what to take when, and how much. Because and even though sometimes you say this to people, they forget and they get their stuff and they just start taking whatever. And then all of a sudden they're like detoxing crazy. And it's because they started taking the high dose of what it says on the bottle when they should have started at a lower dose. So when I know the products probably have about gotten to them, if you don't check your back office or whatever, I like to check in daily with them for the first week, every single day. How's it going? How you feeling? Did you like the pink drink? What do you think of the taste? How are your bowel movements? Are you having any cramping? Do you have more energy? Sometimes they're like, I don't know, I haven't noticed anything different. That's when you can ask questions. Well, how's your energy? How are you sleeping? Are you able to go to the bathroom every day? And they're like, oh yeah, I guess I am doing that. And you're like, oh, that's fantastic. Because sometimes they don't realize it. Then I like to check in like weekly for the first 4 to 6 months after the first week, and then about monthly after that, or as needed, depending on the person and how it's going. So customer care is key, because you're going to be celebrating with them. You're going to help them with their dosing. You're going to help them figure out timing. A lot of time I get that, oh, I'm so forgetful. I forgot to take it today, or I fell off this week. And that's when I say, okay, great. Let me help you like make a schedule that works for you. Where, where's the first place that you go in the morning? That's usually what I ask. And they're like, the coffee pot, So great. Put your products right by the coffee pot, because then you won't forget to take it every morning. And whatever it is, walk them through what's going to help them be successful and stay consistent. Because if they're not consistent, then they're not going to find the success and they're not going to want to continue. So customer care is so, so important. So just make sure when you do add someone, like whatever works for you, whether it's a chart or an Excel spreadsheet or just putting reminders in your phone, make sure you continue to check in on those people. Plus, a lot of times people don't really know about perks points. And so that's a great opportunity for you to share with them, hey, you have this many perks points, like you can get this product or this product, and helps them to learn about other products and try new things. Let's see. The last thing that I will say is to be consistent. So in this kind of business, you're going to have peaks and valleys, but sometimes that's a little bit out of your control. Sometimes it's just the way that it goes sometimes. But if you are consistent, those people that you were getting no's from, or, you know, that have been putting it off or whatever, will come back. But if you're not consistent, they're not going to continue to see your posts. They're not going to continue to see your journey and your successes. And they will likely forget about it or feel that it's not, you know, not beneficial for them or whatever it is. So stay consistent in your posting, stay consistent in sharing about your journey. Someone said in one of these ones before, like, talk about your journey like a pregnancy, right? Like, women are always posting like, this is my belly at 32 weeks or whatever it is. Like, do that with Plexus. And your successes that you share don't always have to be big, huge things. And I think a lot of times we see that and we get discouraged to even share anything, but your success can be as little as, oh, I got all of my kids out the door today in 20 minutes. Like, great. That's awesome. You're able to do that because you have more energy, or because, and you don't even have to say those things. You can just say, we all got out the door on time today and everybody has shoes. Like, that's awesome. Share those little successes, share your positivity, share your happiness, share your joy, because it is contagious and people want that. And just be real, be you, because the people that you're connected to are connected to you because they know you and they love you and they're interested in what you're doing. And so if it looks interesting and it sounds interesting and they're seeing how much fun you're having, chances are they're going to want to give it a try. Something else that you should be doing when you want to start your business is you want to work on your mindset, because like I said, peaks and valleys are going to happen. You want to continue to grow, whether that's hopping on YouTube and watching a quick video, or the diamond documentaries are awesome, or just reading a book. So working on your mindset, being kind to yourself, being graceful, stepping away when you need to, but staying consistent, and do your daily IPA. Your IPA is your income producing activity. That looks different at different parts of your journey, but you should always be following up. You should always be providing customer care. You should always be sending new messages. I have been adding a lot of new friends lately, and don't just add them, but then like engage with them, talk with them, like their post, comment about their vacation, or people aren't really vacationing right now, but comment about their kids or whatever. Send the triplex video, send it out to people. You can do it right from the app. Check in with your team, use the threads to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask the questions, and schedule some power hours with your upline. They will help you walk through, what does it look like for me to sit and do IPA? What does that mean? What should I be doing? They will help you. And follow your team on social, hype them up. They will hype you up, and do the scary things. That's it. No, I'm not frozen. I'm just done.
I love you. That was so amazing. We have like maybe 5 minutes or less, but if anyone has questions for Marissa or anything, feel free to ask them. I know that was like a ton of information, but a lot. Like Marissa said, she made a really cool little slide deck just to kind of go over it, and so we can share that slide deck with you guys. But
hey, Marissa, yeah. I do have a question.
Yeah.
How do you talk to people, the ones that like they didn't reach out to you when they had a problem, like with their detox? Like, I had a girl who did it, but then I did a check-in and she was like, oh, well, I stopped it because I was cramping really bad. So like, how do you talk them through that?
That's a really great question. And that's happened to me several times before. It's like the most frustrating thing ever. But I usually like to preface it to at the very beginning, like, hey, like, welcome to Plexus. Text me when your products arrive. When they get them, I usually say, let me know if you feel uncomfortable at all. And sometimes they still don't do that. And sometimes they're like, wait, I'm not detoxing. Should I be detoxing? And you're like, no, that's fine. But I just usually say, okay, I'm going to set you up with a new regimen. This is what I want you to do today. And you just tell them just what to do for that day. And you give them, you're going to do this many BioCleanse or whatever it is. And then the next day you have to follow up with them again. How was it yesterday? This is what you need to do today. And so like that customer care is a lot of work. But sometimes people will do that and they're like, oh, well, no, I'm just going to be done because, this and this happened or whatever. And you'll just have to say, okay, remind them why they started. Why did you want to start? You wanted to start because, you're uncomfortable, you don't have energy or whatever it is, and say, okay, well, here is a tool. If you, want to stick to it and I can help you through it, I can coach you through it, you will get there. But sometimes it's all you can do to lead them there, and then it's kind of up to them. But you just have to, I like to just give them a 1-day thing. Do this just today and then check with them tomorrow. Do this today, and sort of really hold their hand.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why the ambassador forms that are on the files tab of our health page, I feel like are so important, so that you can have a sheet on every single person and you can have all of their goals written down in front of you so you can go back to them and do exactly what Marissa just said.
Yeah.
Can I share 2 things that I learned this week from Emily Gibson? Kind of going off of what Marissa was saying. So 2 really big tips I took away. I'm in momentum movement. Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Movement makers, something. I don't know. Anyways, I'm in their big training that they're doing in November. And I was on like a 2.5-hour webinar yesterday. And it was basically all about onboarding systems and duplication. So basically everything that Marissa just talked about, which you did amazing. You go, girl. 2 big tips that I took away. 1, they start every single person with triplex and ease. Like that's just a non-negotiable. They don't even present it as an add-on. They say, this is the combo I recommend for you. They give them a price with triplex with ease. And the reason why is nobody detoxes as harshly the first month. So like they saw huge retention improvement to their team when they started everybody with triplex and ease. So that was a huge tip for me. I've done it a few times, but only in specific cases, not really for like detox preventative. So that was a big tip that I am definitely going to be using my team. And then the second thing that they talked about, like you were talking about, is duplication in systems. And I love that they included in their onboarding sheet, what Jordan just mentioned, is they have a 4 check-in rule in the first 30 days, 4 times. And they said so much of the time, people either do not get checked up on or they get checked up on way too much. And they're overwhelmed and they don't ask the right questions and it's not engaging and it's just like a wasted effort. And then they turn off their sub and you never hear from them again. And I know I've all gone through this experience. I have. So I love their 4-person check or 4-time check-in rule. And so during their onboarding process, they say, hey, just so you know, I'm going to check in with you the day that you get your products. And they actually keep the ball in their court and they reach out to them on the day that they get their products, which is within about 5 business days. And then they check in with them 3 more times after that, the first month. And they let them know that up front so that there's that expectation and that agreement. And they don't feel like, oh, this person's bugging me or this person's wanting me to add more product or anything like that. So Lachey, that kind of answers your question a little bit too, as far as, how to address somebody that's going through detox issue. And in those specific cases, they said, obviously, help them through that situation. But if you let them know up front that you're going to be talking to them 4 times, then that expectation is already set. And I feel like it's easier for both sides.
Yeah, I love that.
Anyways, I'll stop talking now.
I actually really love that too, because I always feel like I'm either like checking in too much, I feel like, or not enough. And then that happens like what Lachey was saying. So I love that 4 check-in rule.
Okay, you guys. Well, we don't want to take too much time. I know everyone is busy, but next week we're going to talk all about social media and branding, kind of figuring out your brand, social media, tips and tricks, all those things. So we'll see you next week.
Katie, your hair looks so good, by the way.
Thank you.
Does. I was gonna say that.
Hot.
Thank
Does
you.
mine look good, Chandler? Do I look pretty? Can you tell me I look pretty?
Same girl. I'm
I
on
told
day
Jordan, I was
3
like, don't
of
worry,
team
once I
no
wash my
shower.
hair, I'll be hagged out again. It's okay. It's just because
Good
I
stuff.
didn't do it.
Thank you,
Love you guys.
Marissa.
Great, Jordan.
Thank you, Marissa.
Yeah,
You did
thanks,
great.
Marissa. You did awesome.
Thanks. Bye.
Got a whole page of notes.